Engagement with Facebook as a web utility is off the charts. Will monetization catch up?
Well, I think it is. Our whole focus as a company has been, we've been really fortunate, right? I mean, a lot of companies have to, push for a really long time before finding a product market fit with any of their products, the user product, the ad product. Our user product took off really quickly. I mean, when I was just in my college dorm, and it kind of grew explosively. And then the ad product really has as well, right? I mean, we're serving a lot of partners, and I think it's working really well. And over the last few years, a lot of people I think were experimenting with Facebook, but now I think we're squarely out of the experimentation phase, right? And now it's the type of thing that people who are running real campaigns really want to be doing and need to be doing. We're at this fortunate place where we're growing so quickly that we don't have to do a lot. We don't focus a lot on pushing the growth ourselves, right? So our number one focus, whether it's on the user side or the advertiser side or the developer side, is just in making sure that we're delivering value for partners, right? So I think that the size of the markets that we're serving is so big, right? I mean, on the user side, I mean, every single person in the world has friends and family, right? So we're almost at 500 million users now, but there's no reason why social networking won't be a category that has 1 billion users, and whether we get to that will depend on whether we succeed, but I think someone will. Advertising, I think, is being completely remade in this two-way model, right? It's less about broadcast, more about engaging with people and getting people to be evangelists for your brands and spread them to your friends. And then the developer model is becoming completely, everything's personalized, right? And the best thing that we can do for the long term now is not try to just try to get more people or more revenue or anything like that the next year or two, but make sure we're building a solid foundation by serving all of our partners well. So that way, it optimizes the chance that we get to the best outcome over the long term and can have the biggest impact. So, and we're really grateful for the position that we're in and to have the chance to work with all of you guys.
Can you think of an ad campaign on Facebook that was, particularly memorable or persuasive?
Yeah, I mean, there were a lot of really interesting ones. I mean, you can kind of go back in time, or there are more recent ones. I mean, a really good contemporary one is around the World Cup, right? Where it's always really interesting to see the marketing that people do around the World Cup. And one of the things that I thought was really neat was this year Nike debuted their ads on Facebook, right? And a lot of their campaign, I mean, they were doing interesting things around all of the athletes and a lot of fresh content and really engaging stuff on the site. And they were able to get in a very short period of time, I think it was 3 million connections to their different pages. And that's not only people engaging with the ad today, that's a lasting community that they'll have in order to be able to keep on engaging with people. So that's an interesting kind of recent one. And again, it's all about doing things that are engaging with people in this two-way dialogue, right? When you put stuff up and people share it with their friends, and that's the most engaging thing that you're going to do, because as much as people love hearing from you, they really love hearing from their friends and the people they trust and communicate with on a day-to-day basis. I mean, there are lots of other interesting examples too, and there's, Toy Story recently came out, and there's a model where people can buy tickets and do that socially and buy tickets with their friends. Starbucks has this model where they do free pastry days, right? And basically that's a social thing as well. Basically, you create these events and people tell their friends to go to them, and they're much more engaging because people are doing it with their friends. So it's this personalized social experience, a lot more engaging than I think traditional advertising. Now, more than any specific example, I just think that kind of model for advertising is really interesting for the future, right? It's less about just kind of broadcasting, pushing out. It's more about coming up with something creative and then helping people engage around that with their friends and in a personalized way.
Do you think of Facebook as a media company?
I think about it more as a technology company. Because on a day-to-day basis, what we're doing is building technology. But I mean, there's definitely this new kind of company that's like this hybrid technology media company, right? I mean, it used to be the companies in the technology industry built technology and sold their technology, right, as software. And now I think that there's this new wave of companies that are building technology, and the way that their revenue models work are through selling media. So, and it's interesting to see a lot of the kind of older school technology companies that used to sell technology now getting into media, like Microsoft, Apple. So I think that's a really big trend.
That's interesting. You brought up the Nike World Cup campaign, which is truly global. So is Facebook. And this is a very global audience. What do you know know about Facebook around the world and how people use it around the world? Does it change from market to market, or, what's interesting there?
Yeah, actually, the most interesting thing is, a lot of people ask how it's different from country to country, and one of the more interesting things that we've found is that is how similar it is from country to country. And I think it really comes down to what the core need is that the service is addressing, which is that people want to stay connected with their friends and family. Everyone has friends and family. Everyone is part of a community. People want to see what's going on with the people in their community. And that's really similar across every country, right? And so when you get differences, right, I mean, obviously, the things that people are marketing in different countries are a bit different. The applications that developers build are a bit different. I mean, the tube warning application we were talking about before in London, obviously, is something that would be applicable where I'm from, in Palo Alto. But I think, by and large, people are using the service for the same things. And this principle about designing products around people, I think, is going to be fairly universal as well. And it's not only going to be Facebook. I think it's going to be every product, right? Every website, every mobile application. And if you think about it, when you go to have a conversation with someone, if you know something about them going in, the more you know, the better of a conversation you can have, the better kind of an interface you can have and you can provide. And I don't think the products and marketing are really any different, right? I mean, the more you're able to customize and personalize the products that you offer and the marketing that you have, I just think that the more effective it's going to be. And this big trend of kind of people caring about and being able to have access to the people that they care about, having personalized stuff, I think is universal. That's why I think it's such a big market, and I don't think it's just